Hello, my name is Shunsuke. I'm 10 years old. I live in the city of Kyoto in Japan with my little sister and my parents. Breakfast is very important in our country. It's a full meal, and the whole family eats together every morning. We drink bouillon, and of course we eat rice. But believe it or not, we also have fish for breakfast. In Japan, we eat a lot of things that come from the sea. For example, my sister loves dried algae. With her fingers, she rolls a leaf with a ball of rice inside, and it's ready to eat. It's delicious, but a little hard to swallow. What I like best is the omelet, cut into thin slices. In the morning, we also eat natto. They're steamed and fermented soybeans. When we try to catch them, they become like funny transparent wires. Daddy loves them, but I don't like them at all. As for my sister, she loves tasting anything she hasn't tried before. She's still got a lot in her mouth. Kyoto is the ancient capital of Japan. It used to be the imperial city. There are lots of temples, the former emperor's palace, and a fantastic market. Sometimes I go to the Kyoto market with my mother. Not only can you find anything you want, but you can taste everything too. They even say that people can come here for a free lunch just by tasting the products from the different stalls. My visits here with my mother, I've become a food expert. Some foods in Japan might seem very strange. One day, Mom had me taste a small, red, transparent thing which had a funny taste. It was a jellyfish. I can still remember because I hated it. Sometimes my mother makes me taste the weirdest foods. No problem here. These are all atsukimeno. That's what we call all sorts of salty vegetables. Rapeseed, eggplant, or cucumbers that we marinate in rice alcohol brine. It's a little strong, and I can't say I like them all. Before refrigerators existed, we preserved food by immersing them in salt or brine. Today we eat these really salty vegetables with white rice. We have a lot of things to buy this morning because my mother has invited my little cousins for a shirasuke sushi. That's a family dish with rice, vegetables, and fish. After a quick trip to my favorite stand, we start our shopping. This is where we can buy little vegetables that come from the mountains. They're preserved in soy sauce or ginger. Japanese cooking almost always includes soy, either as a fresh vegetable or as a seasoning. For the chirashi sushi, my mother stops first at the fish stand. There's so much here, it's hard to choose. Mom finally decides on dried fish. They're in the form of a kind of dough, which looks like noodles. Actually, it's made of thousands of microscopic baby sardines. Mom stops to buy some kombus, big green algae that we use in traditional Japanese bouillon. Some dried fish are so hard that you need a machine to grate them. It's funny, they're like wood chips. further down, I noticed something very strange. They're making mochi. It's steamed, sticky rice, and it's beaten and pounded until it's elastic, like chewing gum. Mochi can be grilled or eaten cold. The dough can be dried and used to make delicious cakes that we eat especially on New Year's Day. Actually, in Japan, we can cook just about anything. Flower roots, like the lotus or the burdock, and from the sea, a tremendous variety of fish, not to mention jellyfish, sea cucumbers, and turtles that we raise here. Of course, there's algae, which accompany almost all dishes. We eat it fresh, dried in salt, or even grilled. We've finished shopping, but before we go back home, we stop at a temple just outside the market. I love it when my mom takes me here, and every time I pet the head of the cow. They say it brings good luck. Afterwards, we stop at a fountain to purify ourselves, and just for fun, Mom agrees to let me play my favorite machine. I choose a subject, and Mom puts a 100-yen coin in the machine. The dragon puts a mysterious message in his mouth. Mom helps me take the message, and we see what the future has in store for me. To make sure the dragon's predictions will come true, we have to hang the paper on a branch of this tree, which is supposed to be sacred. Back home, Mom starts preparing the chirashi sushi, and of course, I help her. While Mom is getting the mushrooms ready, she asks me to make the omelet. I've already cracked the eggs and put them into a bowl. These are my favorite omelets, the ones we eat for breakfast, that we cut into very thin slices. Mom checks to make sure the batter is nice and fluffy. I beat the eggs really hard with chopsticks before straining the batter. All Japanese food is cut up into small pieces ahead of time, so they can be eaten with chopsticks. Chirashi means something scattered in Japanese. And in chirashi sushi, we mix lots of ingredients in the same plate. We also have to add dried ginger, which is red in color because of the vinegar we use to prepare it. We cut the ginger into thin slices too. It's not easy to handle this enormous knife, and you have to be very careful not to cut yourself. Mom checks the rice as it cooks. It's now time to fry the omelet. You have to pour just a tiny bit of egg batter into the frying pan to make the omelet as thin as possible. I think my hand is a little too heavy for my first try. In less than a minute, the omelet is cooked. I put it on a sheet of paper to absorb the fat. I didn't do too badly. My omelet has a nice square shape. The rice is ready. Mom adds a little hot vinegar and gives my sister and me the job of cooling off the rice. We use fans. It's fun. We both try to make as much wind as possible. While the rice is cooling off, Mom adds lots of ingredients. Mushrooms, lotus flowers, sorghum flowers, and little pieces of squash, which we call campio. Then they all have to be mixed together. Now I know the recipe for chirashi, but there are so many different varieties of sushi in Japan. The most famous is the sushi we eat in restaurants. It's made of thin slices of raw fish on little balls of rice. Mom finally gives us permission to taste the food. My sister and I have been waiting impatiently for this moment. What's missing are the little dried fish. You remember the ones that look like noodles? We add them and we mix everything up again. The final touch is the noli. They're algae with a pretty green color. And of course, they're cut up into thin slices too. And now, nicely served in a big bowl, the chirashi sushi is ready to eat. My cousins have arrived, and everyone sits around the low table. Usually everyone serves himself, but my mom prefers doing the serving to avoid any catastrophes. We all eat with chopsticks, but they're not easy to get used to at first. What's more, at school, we eat with a kind of spoon because it seems that chopsticks can be dangerous. Luckily, we have plenty of chances to trade at home. And believe me, when the food is good, we learn very fast.